Good morning, everybody. Boker Tov. You're listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Segal Network. Our show is sponsored by Abels and Hyman. We taste better. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Naomi Nachman. I'm about all the food, all the time. I love food. I love to shop for it, cook it, eat at restaurants, anything food related. I'm a kosher personal chef. My business is called the Aussie Gourmet, and I give lots of cooking classes. In fact, I just signed up for my 300th cooking class. It's probably like 1,000 if you include all the ones I've been doing at Camp Dina for the last 7 years in the summertime. But I cater for people for Shabbat, for Yom Tov, for Pesach, small parties. Anytime you don't feel like cooking, I'm your gal. I hope you'll tune in every week and stick with us and hear about my cooking adventures, my kosher food traveling, my sharing of great food ideas and recipes each week. But I'd like to hear about your experiences too, so please email me. Let me know what you've been eating, shopping, where you've been eating at naomi@nachumsegal.com. You can follow me on my website at theaussiegourmet.com. Email me at naomi@nachumsegal.com. I'm not sure if I said that. Okay. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and you can join my newsletter through my website. So, kosher food traveling was a bit of a busy week for me on this Friday morning. I can recap my exciting week. I was actually in Florida. Awesome to get away from this insane weather. My parents in Sydney, Australia are melting. They said it's so hot there. Those of you who are watching the Australian Open and watching people like melt the last few weeks, while we are freezing ourselves over here. So I did catch up on a bit of sunshine. But of course, for me, any traveling, no matter where it is, involves a trip to as many restaurants as I can get in, or convince my husband and family where we should go and how many times we can eat out. So I just want to give a shout out to a couple of restaurants that we really enjoyed. Milky Cafe, it's in Sunrise, Florida. It's actually not too far from Fort Lauderdale. We landed very early in the morning. Our flight actually took off like 6:30 in the morning, getting us in about 9:30, and of course, you know, my family being a family of foodies too, we had to go find somewhere to eat. I turned on my kosher GPS. Big shout out to you, Yitzi. I know that you're in Florida also. Yitzi Katz, the, founder, the writer of the amazing app of Kosher GPS. So we used that a lot, and we found this Milky Cafe right near where we landed at the West Palm Beach Airport, and off we went, and it was really delicious. Of course, we ate at House of Dog. How could I not eat there? Because the sponsor of our show, Abels and Hyman Hot Dogs, they sell their hot dogs to House of Dog, and it was amazing. We had like Caribbean hot dogs with avocado on it and ninja hot dogs with pineapple on it. It was like outrageous. If you go to my Instagram page, you'll see like four different hot dogs that my husband and I shared. We didn't eat 4 hot dogs each. We shared the 4. So it was like eating 2 hot dogs. My kids also really liked it. Even my kids who don't even like hot dogs. Some of my kids aren't. One of my kids is not such a hot dog person, but she loved it. She had a pepper steak sandwich. It was amazing. So we really enjoyed that. And also, I had the best Chinese food of my life in Florida, in Miami Beach. It's called China Beach. It's right off 41st Street on Alton Road. It was amazing. We're in a bit of a hurry to get to the airport. So we stopped by. We thought we'd grab some Chinese food to eat with us at the airport. I told him that I love hot and sour soup, so he gave me some to try. And then he kept giving me more and more, and I went to pay for it while our food was being prepared. I was eating it, and he's like, no, the soup is on me. He gave like all my kids some to try. Like, we loved it. It was really the best kosher Chinese food. I've only ever had kosher food, but the best Chinese food I've ever had. So that's a big shout out to China Beach. And thank you very much for treating me so well. The best customer service out of all the restaurants also. So 3 weeks ago, right, ZK? 3 weeks ago, he's given me the nod. We had our live show in Gourmet Glad in Cedarhurst. I'm getting the nod. We had a live show with Abels and Hyman Meats. It was their 60th anniversary kickoff edition for their amazing product of hot dogs and all their other meats. And we thought we would have a celebration and have it be hosted by Gourmet Glatt. Now, we had a giveaway of 2 cookbooks by Leah Shapira. All you had to do to enter this competition was email me, naomi@nachumsiegel.com, and along with all the people that emailed me, every person wrote me a nice note. So that was really touching how much they liked the show. So thank you to everyone who did enter. But we have one winner, which I'm going to announce. Her name is Hannah Foxman from Far Rockaway, New York. So mazel tov to you. I'll get those books out to you. We don't live too far from each other. I actually have them in my house. So congratulations on winning the books. One more thing I'd like to share, because we've got 2 days to the Super Bowl. And I believe you know what? I'm so not a football fan, but my favorite part about the Super Bowl is the halftime show, what you're going to eat, what you're going to serve to your guests, the commercials. I love the commercials. So but this year, Nachum is hosting, and it's sponsored by Cedar Market out in Teaneck, New Jersey, a kosher halftime show. I think that's really cool. And it's going to be with Lenny Solomon and Schlock Rock. So that's really exciting. And they were even around when I was a teenager in Australia. So, we have one of their groupies, a long history of being a groupie with the Schlock Rock band. They are part of sponsors. Other sponsors are the OU and Empire, and we're going to be cooking up some wings and talking about some great wing recipes with one of our guests today, Josh Aaron from Tov Caterers. But first, my first guest, it's really early in the morning for her, and she's always so happy to be on my show. And it's something that a lot of my guests keep asking me about is, what should we make for supper? How can we make a really good dinner really quickly, really cheaply, healthy and fresh? So who do we turn to? The amazing Nina Safar from Kosher in the Kitchen. Hello, Nina.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, very early morning to you in California. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah, sadly, it's like I'm still tired in the morning, but I'm so used to being up. My son gets up like between 5 and 6.
Oh, my God.
So it's nice to have a distraction, especially on a busy Friday.
Yeah, Fridays are busy. I find no matter what time Shabbos comes in, we're always super busy on a Friday. Sometimes you have till 4 and sometimes you have till 8, and it's still that pressure.
I know, because the longer the Friday, you just push things off.
Yeah.
So you're still like in a frantic rush because, you'll go out to eat in the morning. I mean, if it's a long Friday, I'll go out for breakfast and I'll, just like kind of find myself doing random stuff in the house that are not important. And then suddenly it's like 4 hours to Shabbos and I'm like, okay, I need to get started.
Oh, yeah. You got to get started early. So let's talk about, getting started early, not only about Shabbos, but about planning your suppers. Because that's, I get a lot of emails from some of my listeners. And, what should we do about dinner? What should I make? What side dishes?
Everyone's question. I feel like, not just everyone's question, I feel like regardless of how familiar you are in the kitchen or how confident you are with, cooking up recipes, it's pretty much a question that I think equally kind of annoys or sort of terrifies everyone, like, what's for dinner? I'm cooking multiple recipes a day, and I still dread that question when my family will look at me, and I'll be cooking, like, let's say, 4 new dishes in the kitchen, and then it'll be dinner time, and my husband's like, so, what's for dinner? And I'm like, oh, wait, I forgot about that.
We have a segment. Sorry, Nina.
So,
yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that?
No, I was saying we have a segment on our show called What's for Dinner because
of
all this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because we always want to know. Everybody
always
wants to know what's for dinner.
I know. So I found, personally, like, so in the beginning, when I started cooking, it would always be stressful, and it's always like swapping recipes. And I think the stress also is people feel like you have to come up with something new and exciting every single night, especially now with social media. Everyone's like taking pictures and tweeting their dinner and putting it on Facebook. And so I think there's always that pressure of like it has to be really good and really different. And I've come to like decide where I'm like, okay, I want it to be good. Clearly I want it to be good. But it doesn't have to be different and exciting for it to be good. And I think once you take your mindset away from like coming up with something new and different every night and you settle on a routine of like simple cooking techniques, cooking foods in a familiar way, but I'll get to that in a second. So once you fall back on that and then you kind of tweak it a little bit, depending on the night, if you want a little different, then it takes away so much pressure. For me, last time I spoke with you, I told you I do a monthly dinner club.
Right. How's that going?
It's great. I'm actually starting a new addition to it. So as of now, people that sign up, every Sunday they get a menu sent to them with recipe cards and a shopping list. A lot of people express interest in because they want to be able to control what they're getting. As of now, I'm sending it to them. They don't know what it is until I send it to them.
Okay.
So I'm starting a new process where there's going to be a selection of new recipes, like, 30 to 60, and people will be able to select which ones they want and then just buy it in like a one-time thing.
That's very clever.
Yeah, so they have control over it, and they can decide what they want, and I'm really excited about that, and a lot of the fans are excited. So basically, there's a lot of recipes that I'm cooking up.
And how do you sign up? I'm sorry, Nina, I'm sorry to interrupt you, because I just want to catch you in that moment there. How does one sign up for that cooking club?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I think that's too good.
kosherandthekitch.com/menu.
Okay, great. I hope everyone got that. kosherandthekitch.com
.com/menu, or you could just go to kosherandthekitch.com, and I'm going to be promoting it throughout the week. Or better yet, go to the Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/thekosherkitch, and I'm going to be talking about it there. And one person expressed interest that they want to do 30 days vegan, so I'm going to be working with them and creating them a menu of exclusive vegan recipes. So I definitely can.
So how many days? 30 days?
I'm sorry?
Did you say 30-day vegan menu?
Yes.
Oh, that's so interesting. Oh,
yeah,
my God.
So I can easily adapt things and create something and tailor it to someone's specific needs. But just going back to the breakdown, so it's when I'm preparing the menu for the week ahead, the way I break it down is, and I think most people kind of break down their menus, unless someone, doesn't like fish at all. They generally want, like a breakdown of like fish, meat, something cheesy, usually Thursday night, and then I don't know about you, but I also try and do one night where it's, if not vegan, then vegetarian, or at least meat-free to like keep it balanced, and then fish. So
eat more fish.
I break it down like that.
Right.
And then as far as each thing, like I was saying before, it's finding like a simple cooking technique. Like for me, with salmon. Okay, I cook my salmon the same way every time. It's really simple, really easy. I just take the fish, I take the salmon, I'll put it on a baking sheet, drizzle some olive oil on it, season it. My favorite is Montreal steak seasoning. I just love it.
Montreal steak seasoning. People love that. I've never used it. People go on about it all the time. Yeah, it's good.
I love it. I'm like, it's kind of like, I think, unhealthy the way I just like rely on that in the kitchen so much. When I'm cooking something just like easy, quick, I throw that on, and I love it because you could use it with fish or chicken or in a sauce. And
I got to try it. I got to try this. Is it high in sodium?
Okay, I don't know about that. So I should probably check before I promote
I
it
always
to everyone.
check the sodium levels.
I don't use a lot. I really don't use a lot. Like I literally I put on a little bit of it, and then that's the only thing. I don't do salt if I'm using that.
Okay.
And you don't need to use anything else. It adds like a really great flavor. But let me know about the sodium.
Yeah, I'll get back to you and everyone else about the sodium
level. So
level.
My salmon, that's how I'll bake, and then I'll throw it in the oven, like 12 to 18 minutes and 400. And that's how I cook my salmon. And how I mix it up is I'll pair it with different sauces. Like I'll serve it with like a lemon caper sauce, or I'll serve it with a mushroom sauce, or I'll serve it with like a creamy dill sauce.
So that's interesting. You have a basic recipe, and then you've kicked it up a notch by serving at different times with different sauces.
Yes,
making a whole new recipe.
That's what I'll do. Sometimes I'll once in a while, if I'm making it for my son, I'll make it fish stick style where I bake it. But and then for example, the way I bake if I want something crispy, I always bake it the same way. Whether it's fish, tilapia for fish tacos, or crunchy salmon fish sticks, or I make a lemon herb chicken crunchy, or I'll do my a Chinese dish for baked orange chicken. So these are like completely different dishes, but I use the same technique for all of them. I'll take whether it's the salmon or the tilapia or the chicken breast, and then I'll dip it in either eggs, or I'll coat it with some mayo, or I'll use like a low-fat creamy dressing, and then put it in either cornflake crumbs or breadcrumbs, and then bake it for 20, 25 minutes, and it comes out super crunchy on the outside, moist on the inside. And then again, that's like one simple technique, but if I'm making the tilapia fish that way, I'll, shred it up after, serve it with some cooked up red cabbage and then like a salsa, or if I'm cooking the chicken that way, I'll serve it with an orange sauce that I've made. So it's like, and I'll coat it on top so it's like a Chinese dish.
My mouth is drooling, by the way. I'm like so hungry. I know I say that every week, and I know I say this, that I say that every week.
Oh, by the way, also for any of your fans that are listening, if they're interested in any of the recipes that I mentioned,
sure.
A lot of them, some of them are on the site, a lot of them are not on the site because I made them exclusive for Dinner Club menus, but whoever emails with Table for Two and told me that they heard me on your show, I'll send them the recipe cards for free.
Oh, thank you so much. So let's just recap that. So if you're a Table for Two listener, like you're listening right now, or you're listening on the archives after the show, go to send Nina an email. Should they do it?
Yeah, Nina at Kosher in the Kitchen.
And just tell her that you heard, her on the show, Table for Two.
Hi,
guys. and she will send you recipe cards, because is your dinner club, there's a charge for that?
Yes. It's $9.99. It's $10 a month. And
that's a pretty good.
A lot of the recipes that I create for them, I don't put on the site. Just because I don't. In the beginning, I said I would put it later on the site. I have over 100 recipes that I created for the menu at this point. I don't have the time to go back and put it on the site.
Right.
So I feel bad. I would love to share it with everyone. It's just constantly creating new ones, and every so often I'll share it with them. But I have a pile up of recipes now.
It's a nice exclusivity. Now, it's about $2.50 a week, which is nothing when you think about the time. Think about this, listeners, right? The time that's involved, and as busy mums, time is money, that you don't have to now sit through your cookbooks, through different websites, or wherever you get your recipes from, writing the recipes down, collecting them all up, writing the shopping list. Nina's doing that for you for just $2.50 a week. What's that a day? What's $2.50 divided by 7?
I'm terrible in numbers, so I'm not even going to guess.
So not so much money, maybe like 50 cents a day?
Yeah, but they're getting recipe cards that they could
less
print,
than 50
and then
cents
there's
a day.
Shopping list. But also, I do understand some people don't like the element of surprise, so that's why now I'm adding a new kind of sign-up where it's one-time fee, it's not every month, and you could select your own recipes. And this way you can choose exactly what you want, and then you'll still be getting the recipe card, and I will still send you a shopping list for each recipe card. So you're, let's say, selecting 30 recipes, and then you can create your own weekly menus based on the cards that I send you, and you'll still have the shopping list.
I love that. That's so clever. I'm actually going to totally join. You know what? I have my own whole recipe collection, but, and I whip up my own stuff all the time. But I love, someone who's tried and true, and that is you. When is your book coming out, man? We need a book from you.
We always talk about it.
I know. I'm always nudging you. You've got 100 recipes right there from the dinner club.
I have the recipes. It's just
the food styling and the recipe testing.
It's a big process. I mean, if you talk to anyone who's done it, it's a big process. And for me, I would definitely love to, and I hope one day that happens. But right now, I just love sharing recipes with my fans, and that's what I'm able to do through the site and now through the menu. So as long as I'm able to share the recipes and get it out there, I'm excited.
Right. The only reason I keep coming back to it, because there's nothing nicer Shabbos afternoon than opening up a cookbook. I was reading this past Shabbos. Have you got Yotam Ottolenghi's cookbooks?
No.
They are amazing. He wrote Jerusalem, Plenty, and Ottolenghi.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't have it, but I've seen it. Okay, my son's obsessed with Barnes & Nobles, and it's kind of like mommy. My son loves going to Barnes & Nobles.
Oh, Barnes & Nobles.
Like the mommy-son happy place, because we're both happy there.
Oh, that's so cute.
So he will go and read his curious stories, and I will basically look at all those cookbooks. And, it's funny, because whenever I'm there, I'm always sort of like, I need to be here. Like, I'm not just sitting there reading them, but I'm always like, I need to see my cookbook here one day. But,
I know.
I really enjoy looking at all the cookbooks there, and those are beautifully photographed, the ones you just mentioned.
Yeah, Yotam Ottolenghi's cookbooks are amazing. It's not actually a kosher cookbook, but he's an Israeli chef who partnered up with a Palestinian chef. And they partnered up, and they wrote this in England. They partnered up in England.
Wow.
And they opened up a restaurant, and then they, they wrote 3 cookbooks together from stuff they serve in the store, and then just from about their shared heritage.
That's the one. I love the collaboration.
Unbelievable.
Really
like, I learned about sumac. Sumac is the tangy. It's like a tangy spice. I actually bought it when I was in Los Angeles a couple months ago. Remember when we tried to hook up you and I over there.
Yeah, we didn't get to meet up. Next time we have to make it happen.
I'm dying to come back to LA because there's so many restaurants I want to try. And
I was just in New York actually, but the weather was
I know, and we missed each other. I know, we missed each other, and I was like crazed. We had all these live shows, and then snow, and it was like really crazy. But I learned to use all these different spices from reading other people's cookbooks, and I read all. Not only do I read the recipe, my mouth is drooling from all the food talking. It's crazy. But I read the front of the book, the back of the book, the indexes, every side note, every footnote. Like I really try to get the whole.
Junkie.
Yeah, I'm a cookbook junkie. I don't I try not to buy so many anymore because I don't know what to do with my basement anymore. Or the games closet is being cleared out constantly for more cookbooks. So, I'm definitely one of those cookbook junkies, and I'm always online searching for new and exciting recipes as well.
Yeah, there's so many out there. I was actually, I was talking to someone recently, and it was like for an article for a paper, and they were asking me a question as far as like how people are being influenced nowadays, and they kept talking about chefs, and I mean, I think chefs are incredible and amazing, but I was saying what excites me now is chefs have always been a source of knowledge, and people have always looked up to them for inspiration for cooking. But what I love now, you don't have to be a chef to cook a good meal. Like, you can literally be in your kitchen at home, open up your computer, and be inspired by all these other real life people, all these other amazing bloggers, because there are so many amazing bloggers, and you can get inspiration from them. So I was saying I love food bloggers. That's what I love about them. That's why I started the food blog. When I first started, it was because I was inspired by other food bloggers who, they weren't kosher at the time, so that's why I started mine. But I was just so inspired by these people that were working, or they were college students, or men or women, and they were regular people cooking up amazing food. And I was like, wow, I could do this. Like, if they're doing it, so could I.
And you've done an incredible job, Nina. You've done an incredible job. I've watched your site grow for the last 5 years, more than 5 years. You've had it, right?
Yeah, I think it's 6 or 7.
Right. So I remember I was one of the early ones on. I noticed last night on Facebook you had over 15,790 Facebook likes. I'm totally
it's exciting to see the numbers grow. Did you look at the site? Did you notice I changed the design?
You did change the design, and I love those chicken peanut butter wontons that you made.
Oh, okay. So let me tell you, and also, hi, listeners. Sometimes I forget that we're not just talking, the two of us by ourselves. Also going back into like the meal planning, and I think to take away from the kind of like the task and how it gets panicked, because I'm not the only one who I'm sure gets panicked sometimes when you're thinking, what's for dinner. As far as like looking for inspiration around you, those it was crispy wonton cups with chicken peanut sauce. I went out to La Gondola. I'm not sure if you went there when you were here in Los Angeles.
No, I have not.
My new favorite date night place. It's amazing. Nice. My husband and I both love it. And I love it. Okay, I have to admit, I'm really excited about their they have really great, alcohol drinks, fruity ones for the girls like me who don't like alcohol, but I like to drink it.
A girly drink.
I love mojitos, and they had a ginger basil mojito.
A what mojito?
A ginger basil mojito.
That's right up my alley. That's
very
Thai. Very Thai.
And it took a drink that I already liked, and it made it more exciting and even better. And one of the appetizers that we got was it wasn't this. What they did was they took wontons and deep fried it, and then they had like shredded chicken and like a peanut sauce on top. With some spicy mayo, and my husband and I had that, and it was so good. I remember that night I was like, I need to make this tomorrow night for dinner, but I don't fry things. So I was like, how can I make it a little more healthy? And I decided to put it in these wonton cups, which also going back to what you were saying earlier as far as what to serve for game time. I'm like you, I'm not into sports. I grew up with 9 sisters, so...
Isn't that hilarious? I know that about you. But there are some brothers in the mix, right?
Yeah, there are 2 brothers in the mix, but unfortunately for them, it was pretty much dominated by girls. So we weren't really into football. Like, I'm sure my dad's in sports, so he was watching it, but the rest of us were doing our own thing. But just like you, I love the commercials and I love the food. But this is a great way to serve food that's like finger food, easy because you could prepare it in advance. The wonton cups. You take wonton wrappers, and you bake them in mini muffin tins, and then you could fill them with whatever you want.
Like you push it down into the pan, right?
Yeah, gently though. You don't want to push it too hard because then it kind of rips. So you
because they're very thin.
Okay, well, if I'm saying the recipe straight out, you take the mini muffin tin, spray it with cooking oil so it's nice and greased. Take the wonton wrappers, let them defrost a little. You want it to be frozen because then they're going to rip.
Yeah.
And then you gently press it down. Up and down the side, so it fits into each cupcake holder.
Mold.
Then you bake it, into the mold. And then you bake it in the oven. I just for like 10 to 12 minutes. And then you could fill it with whatever you want. On the site, on kosherandthekids.com, I have a ton of recipes using these wonton cups because you could prepare them earlier on the day and then fill them up wherever you want, and you could even like reheat them. And so one of the things was these chicken peanut that's like the inside. But what I think would be even better for game night is I make mini taco cups. I use fake ground beef, the veggie crumbles, and they come in taco seasoning. And then you layer them, you cook it up on top of the stove and layer it in these wonton cups with salsa. You could use jarred because, I mean, I don't think people really have too much time when you're having like a whole bunch of people over, or you can make fresh. But I've done it with jarred, and then you add some shredded cheddar, and then so you're going to cook the wonton cups, fill it up with this stuff, and then just like put it back in the oven until the cheese melts, and it's amazing. And it tastes like real meat, but it's not meat. So you get to have the real cheese.
It's so cute. You're just as excited about food as I am. I love it.
We're like both gushing. I remember, sometimes I'll remember making the dish and photographing it, and I had a hard time keeping them there for me to photograph because they were so good. And also what I love about the meat tasting real is I haven't found a cheese that's fake that I like. A lot of people were asking me for vegan recipes, so I tried some of the fake cheeses out there, and I really didn't like it. So I was like, I'd rather use real cheese because there's nothing like real cheese.
But then you have the fake meat.
And the fake chicken doesn't really taste good, but the fake ground beef, literally, I cook it up all the time. I make really good spaghetti bake with like the fake meat and 3 different cheeses, and you bake it all together with spaghetti. And it's so good. And people sometimes they hesitate and they look at me and I'm like, come on, I'm kosher in the kitchen. Like, are you even going to ask me? Like, no, the meat is not real. Because it just tastes really good.
Yeah, no, it's good. I make like chicken enchiladas, and I actually use these fake chicken cutlets. I wish I could remember the brand. I get them at Gourmet Glatt in Cedarhurst.
Good because I've never found a fake chicken that
I have to send you the brand, Smart Light or something. They're really good, and you're sauteing them up with onions and cilantro and beans and jalapenos and fresh cheese. It's amazing.
You like cilantro? I'm so happy. I get like kind of upset when I'm with someone who doesn't because I'm like, that's my favorite thing.
I know. I made last night for dinner. I had made a big pot of chicken soup for Shabbos today. I always make my chicken soup on Wednesday, let it cool, skim off the fat. And I had tons of chicken, so I didn't know what to do with it. And even though it was Thursday night, we don't usually eat fleischiks on a Thursday night, but I had all this great chicken. So I sauteed it up with like all these Chinese flavors, like some sesame oil and some soy sauce and some fresh ginger. I can't remember. I made it up as I went, so it had scallions. And then I had this big chicken stir fry, like basically boiled chicken from the soup that was full of flavor. And then I put it in iceberg lettuce cups. I took iceberg lettuce, and then I basically looked like stuffed cabbage or an egg roll that was just lettuce and chicken, and it was like almost fat free. It was amazing.
And that's also really good for game day. Like anything mini, basically.
Right. Can I ask
anything
you
individual?
Yeah, I love minis. I like the idea, and a big shout out to my amazing sponsors, Abels and Hyman. I'm just thinking of this recipe now. You take your little wonton muffin-shaped cups.
Yeah.
And you put a little Abels and Hyman tangy mustard sauce at the bottom. Then put some cooked or grilled up hot dogs inside the cup on top of them.
That sounds great.
So you've got like this wonton cup with a hot dog inside, and it I think that's what I think I'm going to go for.
Did you just think of that now?
Yeah, I promise you, I just thought of that now.
It's awesome. I love it, like crispy hot dogs.
Right, and you could put really a little coleslaw on the top. Oh my God, it's like a hot dog, but rather than having all the calories of bread, you're having a baked wonton wrapper.
Exactly. The wonton
there you
wrapper,
go. You heard it here first. So, Nina, I heard you say that you don't fry. Is that for health reasons?
Yeah, I try not to. I'm not going to say I never fry because I was just talking to, Kosher Eye.
Yes, of course, Roberta.
Okay, so I met, I think it was her daughter or daughter-in-law, who's really sweet, at a cooking demo in Maryland, and one of the recipe cards that I gave out were these fake crab balls that I make, and we were talking about them because she was telling me she was making them for a Shabbos, and over Twitter I was talking to her, and it was really funny because I was making them also, and then I was telling her, because you have the option to fry them or bake them. I bake them for my guests, but I tell her, as a Shabbos treat Friday, when it gets down to the last 2 portions, I fry them up for myself.
Yeah, good for you. I'm happy to hear that.
So good.
I love to deep fry.
I don't like to fry. If I don't have to, I won't, but I'm not going to say I never ever do.
Right.
Because once I did, I think I wrote something on my blog, I've never do this, and then there was a picture, and so many people were like, I thought you never fry.
They're watching, and they're watching you.
I don't have to.
Thank you, Nina, so much for being with us. I love to talk food with you. My mouth is watering. My stomach is grumbling. It's a few hours to go till Shabbos before I can eat again. But thank you really for joining us very early in the morning from California.
And anyone who's listening, you really can email me for recipes that you enjoyed that I mentioned today. And check out kosherandthekids.com/menu to sign up for future menus.
Okay, thank you very much, Nina Safar.
Thanks so much. Have a great Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Bye-bye.
Take care. That was Nina Safar from Los Angeles, California, joining us. Lucky, I didn't ask her about how warm her weather was today, but we've been all week freezing. You are listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Segal Network. Our show is sponsored by Abels and Hyman Meats. We taste better. Wow, we're talking about tasting food, and I've got with me the most incredible chef, the funniest guy I know. We've got Josh Aaron. Can we get, I just want to, before I introduce Josh, people who watch my show can all listen to my show, can also now watch it, I believe. You can go onto YouTube to the Nachum Segal site, channel, to the Nachum Segal channel, and you just do the search in YouTube, and all the shows come up. My shows, my shows from that I did in Gourmet Glatt. It's called Nachum Segal Net. Go to Nachum Segal Net on the search bar on the YouTube page, and you can watch our live show. So we're kind of recording, so you can see me now and listen to me now. So if you have the time to sit down in front of a computer, or if you're busy in the kitchen cooking and you could just listen, but if you have the time, you can sit down and watch me and some of my guests eat and drink away some of our amazing shows. So Josh, thank you so much for joining me on a Friday morning. Do you know I had to tear him out of the kitchen at Tov Caterers out in Queens, right?
Yes, we're out in Rego Park, Queens. We've been there for 52 years. Actually, Tov Caterers started on the Lower East Side.
Right, right here. Where?
I believe it's 143 Broadway. I got to check that with my sister-in-law.
Okay.
But Tov Caterers started out here on the Lower East Side and moved to Queens in 1962, and we are still there.
Very nice. And you are the new owner and proprietor of the store?
I am.
Okay, so let's get a little bit of history about Josh. Josh and I live in the same neighborhood. I'm very good pals with his wife, Shana, and the kids are adorable. Now they're getting big.
Yeah,
I know, we're buds. Me and the girls, we're all very tight.
Anytime you want to take them, it's no problem.
I know, right? They always want to come over and cook with me.
They'll fit in with all your girls.
I know, exactly.
Take my boys and then see how that goes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that would work in my house. They wouldn't know what to do. Okay, so we met a couple of years ago when we moved to the neighborhood. We met through our friends Avi and Laura Posner. Big shout out to them, who we went to House of Dog with. So that was a fun experience eating with Avi at House of Dog. Avi, you're getting a big shout out today. So I found out that Josh was a chef, and at the time I was not a personal chef. I was just a big foodie, so I was like in awe when I met Josh and Shana. And then you told me you actually went to chef school.
Yes,
so many. I know Rachel Ray has not gone to chef school. So she actually legally is not. I don't know if it's legal or not legal or in the culture, but she's not actually called Chef Rachel Ray, right?
Right. I don't think so. I went to the Culinary Institute of America.
Where is that?
That is in Hyde Park, New York, up past New Paltz.
But you went to YU first, right?
I did. I was working. I finished my bachelor's and thought I was going to law school, and then turned around and changed directions really quick.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Lucky
for us.
My father, Olav Shalom, was on Wall Street for almost 30 years and decided he wanted to retire, and he always wanted to open a restaurant. So he opened the restaurant / pizzeria, and
really?
I started working there, and I found that I really loved to do it. So I watched the cooks and the chefs there, and I learned how to do things. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go for formal training. And I told my parents, and my mother said, you're doing what?
Say what?
Yeah, that was kind of the reaction. She said, okay. And, she's actually food person in her own right, excellent cook. And her grandparents, my great-grandparents, had a hotel in the Catskills for many years.
Oh.
So it kind of runs in the blood. And I decided I wanted to go to the Culinary Institute of America. So I did the research, and I made a deal with my parents.
That's upstate, right?
That's upstate, and in Hyde Park. You know where the Roosevelt Estate is? It's actually down the block.
That's where I show that I'm really not American.
Yeah, on Route 9. Yeah. And
I know where the Catskills is.
Right. Well, it's that general region. And so I told my mom, I said, I'm going to culinary school. And she said, okay, when? I said, next week. And she said, All right. So my parents gave me 1 semester to make it work, and I made it work. If not, I'd be in law school. And
That's so funny.
I haven't looked back.
Okay, great. Now let's.
And it's great because
How many years was it?
culinary at that time was 2 years, and the year that I graduated in '94, they started a BPS program, which is a baccalaureate program where you could go for 4 years and get a bachelor's.
Oh, that's
as well.
interesting. Okay.
And it's really great because this profession, and I love it. I've traveled around. I've been able to go to different countries, I've been to the islands. I've been to all over the United States, just learning different techniques, watching different things. And, your previous guest was, also,
Very animated.
So, she was talking about technique, and technique it's all about. Simple technique done, food done very simply, I find is always the best. It doesn't have to, you don't necessarily have to make it frou-frou, but when you have a good base in good technique, whether it's sauce making or proper cooking techniques and different kinds of cooking techniques, that makes the food sing, and that makes everything come out.
It makes the food sing. I love that
Well,
expression.
I'm into singing also. So.
Yeah, he's also a chazan. Unbelievable. So many talents. That's amazing. I like that term. Helps the food sing. So how was it a challenge? I mean,
it was a
you grew up
challenge.
Dati, and you're going to go to a non-kosher cooking school because CKCA was not around yet. Big shout out to them. Big fans of our show, and we're big fans of them.
So I did a little bit of halachic research and consulted with a few rabbanim, and I had already made a conscious decision when I was accepted to school. No matter what heterim I got, I wasn't going to put anything in my mouth, because once you start one thing, go explain to them it's cold, it's not davar chariv. They don't understand. They see that you're eating, and the concept doesn't wash. So I decided right from the get-go that I wasn't putting anything into my mouth. I told my instructors, I don't taste anything. I don't eat anything for religious reasons.
And they were accepted.
And many of the instructors went out of their way to really try to show me, you could substitute this, you could do this. A lot of the instructors there also had kosher experience, whether it was my skills instructor had kosher experience in a club in Montreal, which was he had worked in a kosher club. The fish instructor in the fish kitchen was always accommodating, wanting me to come in, even if I didn't have a meal ticket, I could eat fish in his kitchen anytime I wanted. Even though I didn't do that, it was just, they were very accepting. They were trying to show me different ways that I could adapt and use things that I might not be able to.
That's wonderful to hear that
was
they were
really
so
great.
accommodating.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine that would be so hard. And you have the smells of food. So did you use your sense of smell?
The whole school smell. I mean,
Oh,
you walk
good, all the time.
walk past the pastry shops in the morning, and the pastry shops, they start at 3:00 in the morning, and they're baking fresh breads for breakfast and fresh muffins and Danish and rolls and all kinds of good, yummy things. I mean, I'm a big cake person, so.
So did you you can't use your sense of taste. Did you use your sense of smell?
Sense of
Because
smell,
I'm very big into that. I
smells,
always smell.
sights,
I go like this.
and
I
ask
waft
a
my
lot of
hands.
questions. Smells and sights, and ask a lot of questions. You're using here. Why are you using this here? What can I substitute? I can't use this together. Surf and turf doesn't go.
Right,
for us.
surf and turf. A lot of people don't know what surf and turf is. Do you want to explain
The
it to
classic surf and turf is lobster tail and Chateaubriand.
Right,
You know,
steak
so-
and shellfish, basically.
right,
So for
so-
those of you who don't know, and that's clearly out for us kosher people.
Right, especially what it is, but certainly we don't eat fish and meat together. So
Right, that's another side point.
That's a side point, but
Like herring and cholent, not together.
not together. Although I've started brewing my own herrings, in different sauces and things.
Let's come back to that.
We'll get
Let's
back
come
to
back to that because I'm a big herring guy. I'm always like
I
the
know
only
that.
woman. I'm like the only woman on my shul that wants to edge towards the herring table. Oh, yum! There's nothing like good herring.
I make a lot.
I know. I've had some of the herring. Okay, so because you have to use your five senses, and
Right.
I say it takes all 5 senses to cook, but
Right.
you're down one.
I'm down.
Which is the
Which
biggest
is
one.
Probably right.
Number uno.
Right. Can't taste anything. So it was a challenge, but it was very good experience because aside from they're giving you the basic techniques in the skills that you need in terms of cutting and and forecasting different things other than just tasting food and making it look good. You need to have a background in that also. Especially nowadays.
Styling.
Styling. Not necessarily
It's all
styling.
about the styling.
Costing. Now you have to know your food costs. You have to know your labor costs. Everything has its place, and they give you the whole program put together, and you really have to you take what you need to take from it.
Right. It must have been really hard not being able to
It
eat.
was very hard. it was. In fact, I missed one entire class for Pesach one year. One year I got lucky. Pesach fell exactly on spring break.
It's having this year for my daughter in Queen's College.
Right. So one year Pesach fell exactly on spring break, so I didn't miss any class time. One year it fell an entire block. The way the school work is it's one class very intensely for either 7 or 14 days.
Uh-huh.
So if you're doing Oriental cuisine, you're doing Oriental cuisine for the next 7 days from 6 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. And you're only doing Oriental cuisine. So I was able to block out one entire class for Pesach, which I made up at the end of my,
Okay, that's good. Thank God we have CKCA because I think they're unbelievable. They do a great job. Their professional series is unbelievable. We're going to be having Jesse and the crew in to talk more about that next couple of weeks. So, Josh, talk to me now. We've moved on. We've graduated. Where did we go off next?
So I worked a little bit for some different kosher caterers just to get a feel for
experience and mentoring,
right? And see how different facilities did different things in their own little way. And then I decided to break out on my own and started a small little boutique catering business. And was doing that for a while, and then I was doing some guest chefing in different programs and things like that.
Nice.
And was able to travel and
nice.
Just St. Martin, Puerto Rico,
Ooh.
Las Vegas, California. So it's I was able to go met up actually your house met Yochanan Lambiasi.
You know that Jerusalem cooking school has closed.
I did not know.
Yeah,
that.
it has closed. Chef Lambiasi had a kosher cooking school in Yerushalayim, I believe. And then they moved right outside of Yerushalayim to another facility, and then they closed. So CKCA is really the only kosher cooking school in the entire planet Earth.
And right before Jerusalem 2000, I actually met Shalom Kadosh, who is the executive chef in the Sheraton in Yerushalayim, and he was hosting this event for like 3,000 people in his hotel with different chefs from all over the world.
Remember that.
Who came together to each do a course for this
amazing
dinner that they were producing for Jerusalem 2000. It was really a great experience.
So you got to be part of that.
He gave me the cookbook after.
Oh, okay.
but he showed me we talked about it. It was an incredible event.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now you are settled in Queens.
I work in Queens, live in Woodmere with my wife and my 4 children, Jonathan, Max, Kayla, Abigail. Hello, everybody.
The younger 3 are triplets, so
yeah,
they've had their hands full.
Yes.
So you run Tov Caterers.
Right. I actually have 2 businesses that I'm running. I run Tov Caterers in Rego Park, and I run a smaller boutique kind of business and consulting business called Josh Aaron Caterers out of Woodmere, and each one takes up a certain amount of my time. And,
probably all of your time.
Like all of my time. But thank God, God is good. He finds time for everything.
I know. Everything keeps us so busy. If it's not one thing, it's another. I always say, soon I'm going to get over it. First it's going to be Hanukkah. I'm going to get over the Hanukkah hump. And then it's going to be winter break.
Don't worry. You don't remember for 2 years we're still going to Basil, right?
Basil. Love basil. Okay, I have a countdown app on my phone. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. Let's see if I can get it working. Oh man, of course, now that I'm doing a show, I'm going to have a look until how many days is Big Day. I've got this app called Big Day, and I have a countdown. Okay, I'm going to hold it up to the screen. See, it's different the sun going down. 77 days till Lichbenching. The sun's going down fast till Pesach. 77 days till Pesach.
7 days. Yep, my orders will be in next week.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm a Pesach chef. I cook for people for, as in my intro as I cook for people for Shabbos, for Yom Tov, for Pesach. But really, Pesach is gets its own mention because it takes a life of its own. On a life of its own. It's really
My wife knows. Comes Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Don't look for me until the first Seder.
Yeah, don't from like a week before Purim until Lichbenching on Pesach. I can account for every single minute. I will be doing my shows, listeners, and sharing some Pesach tips and recipes and all my craziness that I'd like to share with everybody.
My orders will be in next week. My menus are done. My production schedule is being settled. Koshering is Rosh Chodesh Nisan, the Shabbos before that, whatever that is.
I hear people freaking out 30th. Through the airwaves. I feel like
Pesach is coming, people.
77 days. So if you're going away, I'm assuming you've already booked. If you have not booked, I would suggest you get on that or call me or call Josh. Or, you know what? It's not people really go into panic, and we're not even going to talk about so much about Pesach. I know it's Rosh Chodesh Adar Aleph today.
Yes.
It's today, right?
Today and
Friday.
tomorrow,
Whoops.
yes.
I think I forgot Yeleviav on my davening. Okay, this morning. Okay, so it's Rosh Chodesh today. Rosh Chodesh, I believe it's also tomorrow. So, of Adar Aleph. So we do have that extra 4 weeks that we did not have last year. Last year it really crept up super fast. But it's just a matter of being organized and, you're looking through your cookbooks, right? People were talking before about looking through your cookbooks. Put a yellow sticky tab at a recipe that you like. Or
Absolutely.
photocopy it and set it aside
Put it
and
in
make
your
a
Pesach
pile.
folder.
Make a Pesach folder.
My wife has her Pesach folder.
It's so easy to
Fills
just
up with recipes
just-
really quickly.
yeah, and just be organized. Gourmet Glad Emporium, a big shout out to them for they have their stuff in the minute Purim is over, and it's fresh food. They do not store. I had a conversation with Howie Klagsbrun a couple of weeks back when preparing for our live show, and he says when they finish their Pesach is over, they put everything on sale, and then they
Clean out their
they
inventory.
clean out the inventory.
They have
That's
fresh
it.
inventory year
They have fresh inventory from Pesach to Pesach. They do not store
I do the same
anything.
thing.
So that's really nice to know that you're always getting fresh food from there all the time. Let's do our What's for Dinner segment right now, which is sponsored by Gourmet Glad Emporium of Cedarhurst. Josh is going to give us a recipe, maybe some wings that we were talking about.
Yeah, sure. Super Bowl is this Sunday. So, of course, my 11-year-old Max, who's one of the 3 triplets, is having a Super Bowl party for his friends.
Woohoo!
So it's been a yearly thing that we've done for him for the past few years.
And it's the Broncos versus the Seahawks, right?
That's right. Very good.
Thank
Naomi.
God I found that
She's
out.
from Australia, but, she knows that.
It was Australia Day last week.
Okay. So we always have some wings besides the burgers and the hot dogs and, poppers and other things that Max might ask for, and chips and salsa and all that other good stuff. So I've made for you today some wings to try.
Oh, yeah.
And
CK,
what I like-
we're going to eat. Yay.
I've been waiting for this.
It's lunchtime. Somewhere.
Come on, I've been flashing since 7 o'clock this morning.
Yeah. ZK, isn't it somewhere around the world it's lunchtime right now?
It's lunchtime every time.
Late 6 has been any time for me.
Okay, there you go. Me too.
It's Friday. I'm flashing at 7 o'clock in the morning right after I finish davening, bowl of cholent, and everything is good.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Come on. So, doing some wings for the Super Bowl party. And what I do first, I like to put a dry rub on them. And unlike your last guest, I do fry. So,
Sorry, Nina. We're
yes.
going to be frying our wings.
yes,
Okay.
we're going to be frying the wings. But
this
if you do
like-
a clean fry, and
Okay.
anyone who's ever fried before, when you take clean oil and good product and it's nice and, done correctly, frying is not as unhealthy as you think it is.
Now, frying, let's talk about a clean fry for a minute. And because I have a question from one of my viewers, a couple of listeners, a couple of weeks ago, had asked me about reusing oil. That's not a clean fry.
Right. Well, reuse. Right.
They said it was carcinogenic, but I didn't know about that.
Well, you can reuse oil. What you should do if you're going to reuse oil is you should strain it.
Okay.
Put it through like a fine mesh
Fine
sieve.
mesh, yeah.
Fine mesh sieve, and this way it'll take out all of the little bits and
Impurities,
pieces, all the bits and pieces from your previous fry that will, not make it, not get your oil to the proper temperature, which is what you need for a clean fry.
Right. Now, I talk about this all the time, and I shout this from the rooftops because I do deep fry, and I love to deep fry. Love to deep fry. Deep fried Oreos, yum. Deep fried ice cream, yum. I've even had deep fried cheesecake. Okay, I know, it was insane. It was actually in Florida at Thai Treat in Miami Beach. But the key, and I actually learned this from Susie Fishbein, so a shout out to you, is oil is got to be at the perfect temperature. You buy yourself an oil thermometer.
Buy an oil thermometer.
Bed Bath & Beyond or Sterling Electronics in Cedarhurst. They have oil thermometers. I have a milchik one, a fleischik one, and a parva one because
That's right.
I have
Obviously.
them in all different categories of
It's
cooking.
okay. People tell me, how come I have so many knives? I have 7 sets.
Yeah, because you need
Well, I have milchiks, fleischiks, parv, times 2 because I have chametz and pesach, and I have my treif set.
right. Yeah, the stuff that you have to keep kashering. I have to kasher a bowl when I get home. Okay, so we're going to do a nice rub of different spices that
Right,
you
and
like.
that you
Finding
like.
your inner chef that you like.
Exactly. And it could be anything. This is a very simple rub. It's salt, pepper. Oh, sorry.
Let's open them up. I'm just going to hold it up. For those of you who can watch or are watching a little bit later on.
And it's a rub with salt. And a shout out to Miriam Wallach and her salt collection.
Oh, yeah.
'cause
I've heard about that.
I've actually had the pleasure of using some of them. They're really good.
Oh, my God. This is amazing. The smell.
So this is salt,
Here's
pepper,
I'm passing
and garlic.
this to ZK to smell.
And I like
Eat
to
it
put
in
a
a
little chili powder on.
You always need that kick.
Right? We rub that in and put that into the deep fryer and fry them up nice and gold, crispy, Yummy, ground, delicious.
Okay, so we're deep frying our wings that have had a dry rub on them. No oil in the dry rub,
No
right?
oil in the
no
dry
oil,
rub.
and the
You're gonna
chicken
use
wings have
plenty.
got to be very dry.
Very dry, right? Dry
Before
up your
you-
wings, pat them with a paper towel,
Yep.
and rub on whatever seasonings you like. Deep fry them till they're nice and crispy, golden brown. And then you should have your sauce ready beforehand in a bowl. And when they come out of the deep fryer hot is when you should toss them in your sauce so that it sticks to the sauce and sucks it in and absorbs everything.
Soaks it in.
And then I prepared some other sauces just for dipping.
Ooh, what have we got here?
And I make my own barbecue sauce.
Oh, nice. I
So-
make an Aussie barbecue sauce. For those of you who want to go onto my website, theaussiegourmet.com, there's a recipe for Aussie barbecue wings with some barbecue sauce made with beer. Does
This-
yours have beer in it?
No beer.
Okay, that's why mine are Aussie.
Bourbon.
Bourbon. Oh, bourbon. Mattis Weingast, host of JM Sunday, asked me to send him a recipe for steak with bourbon. So I got actually obsessed with bourbon in my cooking also. Thanks to you, Mattis.
Well, when you cook with the alcohols, wine or bourbon or even scotch, you burn off the alcohol, you're left with the flavor of the distilling. And, a lot of these are distilled in like oak or sherry. And that's what you're looking for.
I hear Jay Book spam in the background.
Where is he? Because I'd like a drink. No. So I have some barbecue sauce and some spicy wing sauce and some honey mustard sauce.
Okay, should we eat some? Should we? Is
They're
CK's
like-
drooling?
they can't wait.
Best engineer.
What are we waiting
What are we waiting for? For the last
They don't even need napkins.
51 minutes, ZK has been staring at these wings. Okay.
So you guys can become Fleshik since I'm actually milking by now. I only wait 3 hours.
I know it's. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I waited 3 hours growing up.
Well, I know I'm up late when I wake up in the morning. I'm still Fleshiks.
Oh, that's a problem. That's a problem.
But,
Yeah. So now I wait 5 hours in a minute.
you can take your basic recipe and then you bring your whatever sauces you like to the table, and everybody can dip into their own.
That's great.
have
Yeah,
their own
I
little
like
party.
that. I do that with hot dogs. And I always talk about hot dogs now, not only because of, Seth
everything-
Levitt from
right.
Abels and Hyman, but I really have always liked hot dogs and sausages. It's very Australian to like sausages. And I'll do that. I'll do all different kinds of mustards, funky mustards. My
Right.
brother, David Steen of Borough Park, Brooklyn, really got me into these different mustards. When I first got married, he came to America a few months after I did to go to yeshiva here, and then he ended up staying like I did. And then, he got me into mustard. He would bring all these mustards from Australia. Australians have excellent mustard. I have to bring you some to try, and barbecue sauce also.
Actually, I just have a friend who went to India and brought me back some spices from India. They grind them fresh in the market there. He said it's unlike any
nice.
spices that you have
when you
here in this
grind
country.
anything fresh, when you grind coffee beans,
He said it's unlike anything here. He said they
Wow.
grind it fresh in the market.
I don't know any place, even in Israel, that does that, where you're
Right.
grinding the
Fresh.
cumin seeds or the
Yeah.
coriander seeds fresh.
Yeah, fresh. It's
Nice.
gotta be awesome. But you can take any sauce and make it your base sauce and then build on it from there. Like you can take a barbecue sauce and you can add sriracha and you can add honey and you can, and then
Mayo.
and you can
Creamy.
right. And you can on and just take this one sauce and just add different things and you can have 20 sauces.
To me, a lot about cooking is sauce brings everything together.
Right.
Like,
Well-
I don't like food without sauce. I'm always making some kind of dipping sauce or salad dressing or something. I'll put
Right.
salad dressing into a sandwich. It brings it together.
Of course, I make a sandwich. You make some kind of spread, to put on the bread so that you get
I could
different
not
flavors.
eat a deli sandwich, just meat and deli.
Well, you
Needs
want-
a pickle,
right.
coleslaw, and a spread.
I'll eat my hot dog with mustard, ketchup, and coleslaw.
Oh, yum. So I came up with an idea, and it's going to be in the Jewish Home that I write for. I'm one of their food columnists. And I called it the Super Bowl of salad. It will read when you look at it, the Super Bowls of salad. Meaning, let's also do a healthy option besides wings and ribs and hot dogs and all the delicious things that you've got. You can have bowls of different vegetables cut up
Make your own salad.
and make your own salad bar.
Sliced steak, grilled chicken.
Exactly. That's what I have in the Jewish Home article. I'm going to put it on my website. I guess I should do it before Shabbos so people can get
That'd be a
some
good idea.
ideas for Sunday. But like skirt steak, sliced up. I did that like about 2 weeks ago for Shabbos.
Good dry rub,
I-
nice on the barbecue.
Delicious.
I grill in the middle of the winter.
Yeah.
If there's snow, I just shovel a path to the barbecue, light it up, and away we go.
Shout out to Shelley and Ariel Serb of West Hempstead, New Jersey, and West Hempstead, New York, who are always barbecuing the blizzard. Whenever they see blizzard on the forecast, they're cleaning off the barbecue
My
and
son was home
barbecuing.
from yeshiva last week, and we grilled steaks on the barbecue in the middle of the snowstorm. Had a great time.
Yeah. That's nice. That's very nice. There's grilled vegetables. You can do
Yes.
grilled vegetables on the barbecue. There's a lot you can do, even in the winter. But if you do not want to go outside and put wings or your skirt steak or your chicken strips, I have a grill pan. I picked mine up at Sterling Electronics on Central Avenue in Cedarhurst. I know there are lots of houseware stores in everyone's local neighborhoods from, Virginia, where some of my listeners email me from, or Teaneck, or I don't know, I can't think of the top of my head. Maryland's has some, Maryland, Seattle, and I know everybody's got their own
The
houseware.
Seattle fans are grilling fish this week.
Yeah, right? They might be.
Well, Seattle wants to grill the meat. Denver wants to grill the fish.
Oh, I see. Oh, got it. Because it's, Seattle and Denver Broncos.
and,
Okay,
yes,
got it. But they say
Seahawks.
the best salmon comes out of,
Yes.
better salmon in Seattle than there is on this side, this state side of this countryside of this side of the country, I should really say. So you can use a grill pan bought from your local houseware store. Just put a little bit of, canola oil on the pan if you need it. Trust me, a lot of the meats and a lot of the marinades even have a little bit of olive oil, so you don't even need the extra oil on the pan. And just grill up skirt steak or chicken strip, and you can make bowls of that for your Super Bowl of salads. I thought that was a cool little twist. I got the idea from a magazine called Real Simple, but I made my own version of it. And you can,
My mother always says simple cooking is best cooking.
I know, simple but flavorful.
Yes.
All about the flavor.
Always.
The flavor and the sauce. Okay, so I hope everybody can see. Well, I know people watching and listening can't smell, but they look unbelievable. I think we're going to have a wings party in just a couple of minutes because our show was...
GK is ready to dive over the table.
It's like, what is she waiting for? You know what? I just don't want to get dirty.
Go to break.
I don't want to get dirty. I don't want to get dirty right now. Okay. You know what I thought about? Also, I just wanted to mention grilled fruit.
Yes.
Peaches, pineapple.
Peaches, pineapples, nectarines, even avocados.
Grilled avocados?
Yeah,
I
sure.
want to deep batter and deep fry an avocado.
Absolutely.
Have you ever done that?
No, but I'm going to try it.
I'm going to try that. I really want to try. I bought some avocados.
They probably have to. I would suggest a harder avocado than a softer one, obviously.
I know, but not can't be
deep fried.
too hard.
No, because you can deep fry it. It's going to get soft.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's too soft, it's going to fall apart. You're not going to be able to get the batter to stick
I've
to
actually
it.
had it at a restaurant once. It was amazing. I've just
Sure.
never done it. So, we'll and some panko crumbs.
Deep frying.
I know it's so good, but maybe not so healthy. So we do it as sometimes a Super Bowl treat or a Yom Purim, Hanukkah.
Right.
Not every occasion during the week. Okay, this has been a great hour. I cannot believe we have been drooling and talking about food. So for the last hour, ZK is ready for our wings.
Anthony,
I'm ready for our wings. We'll get some drinks out because it's going to be a fun little bit before we have to head back to our respective homes this Erev Shabbos. I hope everyone will have a great warm week. Don't forget to tune in on NachumSiegel.com for the Kosher Halftime Show, sponsored by Cedar Market, ROU, and Empire. And the gig is going to be Lenny Solomon and Schlockrock. So that's really very exciting. Our show this week, as every week, is sponsored by Abels and Hyman. We taste better. Grab your hot dogs for an amazing barbecue this Sunday for the Super Bowl. I hope everyone will stay tuned. Listening to music sponsored by our friends at Kedem right up until Lichbenting. Want to wish everybody Shabbat Shalom and happy cooking.